5 minutes to the gentleman from Wisconsin, Mr. Glenn Grothman.
Thank you much. First of all, I'd like to make a unanimous consent request to submit the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services final rule for CMS released today that will lead to 100,000 new enrollees under the Affordable Care Act at a cost of $7 billion.
Without objection, so ordered.
Thank you very much. Now, Mr. Breyer, at the end there, you heard the testimony earlier today, the number of freebies that are being given away, particularly in the parole program from Haiti and Mexico. People immediately eligible, I take it, for low-income housing, food stamps, medical care. Does this concern you when we are giving away these amount earned income tax credit, which I consider a horrible program with all sorts of perverse incentives?
It's totally unnecessary. We could not spend that money, rebate it to taxpayers. There's no reason why we need to do this. If we don't want to spend the money, don't spend the money. And I know you have a bill that would do just that, but it's a choice. It's a choice. And so far, all of the immigration bills that have come out of the House of Representatives, none of them have dealt with this issue. So it is an issue, but it's not one that changes the immigration from
You're
good
right.
to bad.
This is the best bill. You should talk to Speaker Johnson on that anywhere out the building. But in a hearing I was at a little while ago, someone testified that the number of people in prisons in Venezuela has dropped 20% over, I don't know, the last year or so. And apparently the president of Venezuela himself has kind of bragged a little bit that he's sending the criminal element here. Is that a possible concern when you have anybody who wants coming across the border instead of picking your immigrants?
Well, it's certainly a concern. That's why we have Border Patrol to interdict those people and, of course, screen them. And, you know, if they're a criminal threat, they should be removed. I don't trust anything the Maduro government says, so whatever information you're getting from them, I would question that. Well, but you should really take information from a credible source, not from a socialist government.
I'll point out, you understand that when these people come across the southern border, we can try to check and see if they have a criminal record in the U.S. and Canada. There's no way to find out whether they have a criminal record, even from Mexico, much less from Venezuela or...
Well, almost none of the people come directly from Venezuela. They spend time in these other countries where we do have information sharing agreements. They're getting their fingerprints checked in Panama and all along the way. So it is a concern. We should obviously have strict security and make sure that we're vetting people. But the idea that this turns it from, oh, we have to keep out every Venezuelan from the United States is not true. Venezuelans have a much lower incarceration rate in the United States than U.S.-born persons do, according to the American Community Survey. So the idea that we need to just ban an entire nationality because there's some uncertainties here is just not a reasonable conclusion.
I'm going to ask Ms. Kirchner to give us some information on stuff that people who come here, either parole or what we'll refer to as illegally, are immediately eligible for, and what you think that does to the cross-section of people who are currently coming here.
Well, sir, those who come here legally, it depends how they're released. And this is one of the ways the Biden administration has significantly exacerbated the problem. So if you are released through parole, parole is given a status under our benefits programs much like that of a legal permanent resident. And we know that there are millions of parolees. We don't know the exact amount. I'm waiting for the latest report to come out. But we know that there are millions of parolees. And because they are considered lawfully present, even though they have no legal status, they are immediately eligible for work permits. They're eligible for Social Security numbers. They're eligible for Obamacare. And that also, the Social Security number opens up the box to tax benefits, earned income tax credit, and the additional child tax credit. But where we're really going to see the cost, these parolees, because they're treated like legal permanent residents, some of them immediately get benefits, the Cubans and Haitians, as I said, are immediately eligible for everything, but the chickens will come home to roost in about 5 years when all of these other parolees who are not Cubans and Haitians are going to be eligible for everything. And so we need to be aware that without adding one illegal alien crossing the border, the costs are going to go up.
Okay, thank you. I just want to get in a last word on something. I've been down to the border several times, and whenever I'm down there, the Border Patrol points out that unless you have a criminal record from the U.S. or Canada, there is no way for them to determine whether or not you have a record. That is what they are telling me, and
I mean, you should look at some of the CBP press releases that they put out when they catch people from Colombia or other countries.
The gentleman's time is expired. I don't need help. But I know there's a lot of folks that like to give me help. Jimmy, why don't you help me out? Take 5 minutes.
I'll try, Mr.
Take 5 minutes, and I may give you a little extra too, if it's a interesting and intellectually honest conversation.
I can't promise you